Welcome to Jack H Tiling YouTube page. This morning we're going to be doing a toolbox talk. I've actually been off for the past 4 weeks on paternity leave, and it's actually quite nice to just get back to getting everything organised, ready to get back to work. And I thought, what better time to do a toolbox talk than now, when we've got everything out. Now, honestly, one of the most important things with tiling, especially with it being such a heavy, laborious trade, is protecting our bodies, and one of the best ways to do this is to be starting with our knees. I invested in these literally within the first month of tiling, about 8 years ago, and I still use the same kneelers today. I honestly couldn't tell you what brand these are. They're just like a super thick cushioned knee protector. Literally whenever you're doing walls and you're like down nice and low, or you're doing floors, it obviously just enables us to protect our knees. We're more comfortable. The more comfortable we can be, the more productive we can be, and so on. And further down the line, we're not going to be crippled by not looking after our bodies. Now, obviously, we can't do any tiling without a tile cutter. And a nice place to start is with a straight ruby cutter. Now, the two ruby cutters that I've got is the TS40, which is a small version of the TS60. Now, this is my first ever tile cutter. Once again, it was bought about 8 years ago. Still use it today. Could do with a little bit of servicing. And I managed to grab this, believe it or not, off eBay for £26.50, which I cleaned up, give it a little bit of a servicing, and it works. It works better than this one now, actually. I use this for if I'm doing little splashbacks, and obviously anything within the 40cm range. And yeah, this is, I actually love this little cutter. I love how small it is, versatile it is. You can do your 45s on there as well by putting this gauge in through the top, as you can on this. There's no actual 45-degree tilt like you can do with the Sigmas. But yeah, sorry, it is really hot today, so a bit sweaty. But yeah, this is a lovely cutter to use, and a great starting point for anybody looking to get into tiling, as you'll probably be starting off and doing some smaller things like splashbacks using the subway tiles. And then this TS60 will cut anywhere up to, I think it's just over 600mm. And you know, this actually just rips through porcelain, ceramic, anything like that. It is honestly just a joy to use. Some people don't like ruby. I love ruby, and I will always use ruby. Now, something I didn't buy until literally last year, so very late into my tiling career, was a sucker. This is by Bihui, or Bihui, whatever you want to call them. I honestly didn't realise how helpful this was going to be until I actually had one, like we do with a lot of things that we end up buying. What this allows you to do is you can suck yourself onto a tile. This will hold up to 180 kilos, I believe. No, my apologies, 110, which is obviously still really heavy. You can literally not pull that off if you wanted to. And people prefer to use these on large platform tiles, but honestly, like, even if you're using something this size, if you can just think, usually you'd be having to like try and balance it on the back of your hand, whereas with this now you can spread it up, you can hand it however you want. It's just so easy to use. And I'll find myself now, even on bathrooms this size, just purely just to have a little bit of extra control. If you want to put it onto the wall, and you can use it to suck onto it, to pull it back out a little bit, give it a little wiggle, rather than having to use your hands and bang it around. It just gives you so much more control over your tiling in general. I'm going to move on to one of my favourite tools to use. It can be a bit controversial. Some people think that using clips is lazy. Look, I don't use clips all the time, But these, once again by Bihui T clips, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. These are insane. Now, what some of you may have seen before are these little orange T clips off Amazon. Now, these are great. When I first found out about them, they were groundbreaking. But now, they're crap compared to these. Now, what these do differently, rather than spinning the face here to clamp down onto the tile, what these do is these allow you to spin the top. And when you spin the top here, the face actually comes down and clamps down onto the face of the tile rather than spinning this tile, which can actually sometimes open up the grout joint. These are hundreds of times better than those cheap clips. And honestly, there's not on many occasions where these T clips won't sort out a slight lippage off a tile rather than having to take off like and relay. It saves a lot of time, and they're honestly just a joy to use. Now, at some point throughout your tiling job that you have, whether it's a little splashback, a bathroom, big floor, you're going to need to at some point do an elka or grind a notch out of a tile. You can get yourself a corded grinder like this Bihui one that I have. This is the first ever grinder I bought. It is honestly fantastic. You can't knock it, especially if you've got big porcelain floor and you're going to be using a lot of energy throughout the day, grinding tiles, doing all your miters. This is the go-to because you just plug it in and you have infinite amounts of electric. You don't need to keep swapping your batteries over. You don't really have to worry about it. Once it's set up, you just use it. Now, something that can be a little bit more of an investment and become handy. This was the second grinder that I bought. It's lasted me 6 years, a DeWalt one. This hasn't actually got the wheel on it at the moment or a battery in, but it is just handy, obviously, just for the versatility. It's easier to move around. You don't need to plug it in, worry about electric. If you're working on site, these are what you're going to be wanting. Actually, once again, you're not wasting time trying to find electric. And even if you just want something to be able, if you are able to work indoors, you just want something to be able to run around and be doing things a little bit quicker, these are great. Once again, it's just purely because you don't need to worry about the electric, and you can just crack on as soon as you get there and get started. So these are probably my two go-tos. There's plenty of other brands out there, but at some point you're going to need a grinder to be able to get cracking. Now, you can probably see the side of me, I've got a couple of different buckets. We love buckets, tilers. I actually like nice buckets as well. These are like some nice good quality buckets. I use this one for grouting. It's literally just a small little grouting bucket. This is good. I like filling this up with water. I'm not sure how many, it's 20 litres, it's bigger than 20 litres. I like filling this up with water. I use it to just wash and swill my hands, swill my tools down every couple of hours. Literally can just dip sponge and wipe all your tiles down. It's just nice and big, and it just allows for, you know, just moving and sticking tools in and out of there. This is a bucket I've not even started using that, even though it's filthy. But yeah, I just love a good looking bucket. Buckets are really handy for it, whether you just want to store things in, put water in there, knock a adhesive up in. If you're a tiler, you know that we use a lot of buckets. Now, inside your buckets, you should always be keeping your sponges, just so you can wash down your work. There's nothing worse than if a customer's walking in or a site manager's walking in and you've got adhesive splattered everywhere, and it's like, oh no, well, I'm going to wash it up at the end of the day, and a lot of the time that's just not good enough. All of a sudden you look like a really messy worker, and people just don't like to see that at the end of the day. So wash your work down, keep a sponge on hand all the time, and you'll be all good. Now, whilst on the subject of keeping clean, get yourself a Hoover. My dad got me this for a birthday or Christmas a couple of years ago. And this is what I use at work now. Once again, if you've got a customer walking around and you've got dust and crap everywhere and you're not cleaning up after yourself, you're going to be labelled a messy, dirty worker that will not be getting put on your reviews that you are nice and clean. And at the end of it doesn't take very long to just clean everything down, hoover all that dust up, get yourself a good review for being nice and clean, and everyone's a winner. Now, that is it from me today. I just thought I'd do a nice, snappy toolbox talk whilst I was sorting everything out, so you know what I'm using. If there's anything you think that I should be adding into this or I've missed off, let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. Also, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Take it easy. I look forward to the next one.